All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. We apologize for that slight technical hitch. Now we are getting into a different conversation here with members of county assemblies. The honorable members are here with us. We're discussing whether the assemblies are assemblies of chaos or not. What are the leadership gaps that they see? What should be done to address them? And what is the controversy around the different counties that we've seen? In Machakos, there was a brawl, a literal fight. In Nyamira, there are two different factions holding separate sittings. Who decides? That's a conversation we're having. Let me start by introducing my guest from the farthest right. Honorable Seth Kamanza is here. He's the Speaker for Kwale County, also the Deputy Chairperson of the County Assemblies Forum. Thank you for making time. Honorable Dominic Maitha is here, MCA Muthuwani Ward in Machakos County. Thank you very much for making time. Honorable Felix Ngui is also with us, MCA Katangi Ward in Machakos County. Thank you very much for making time. Honorable Vincent Atsiaya, MCA Wodonga, Vihiga County, and also the minority leader is with us. Thank you very much for making time. And Honorable Grace Bahati, MCA Cheleni Ward in Machakos County. Thank you very much for making time. We're still waiting for Honorable Peter Imwatok, MCA Makongeni, right here in Nairobi. As soon as he comes in, we'll drop him into the discussion. But before we get into the discussion in terms of whether there are assemblies of chaos or not, there's a lot on the dailies. Front page of the Daily Nation, echoes of war. Front page of the Standard, echoes of oppression. They say here on the Daily Nation that the play of lumpening an imaginary rogue regime was bound to upset the government of the day. Came as no surprise, but a brazen state bid to muzzle the skit by Butere Girls, from attempts to ban it to the arrest of its author, former Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala, brought the national drama festivals to a halt and ended up casting the Kenya Kwanza administration in bad light, with students dejected, journalists injured, and members of the public angry. Did it really have to get to this? And this is where we start, Honorable Kamanza. Yes. What is your view in terms of this drama around the drama festival?
I think it's a very unfortunate incident that happened, and from where I'm seated, I actually not for it, and I think there were better ways to handle that situation, taking it in line that these were students, and it would have been an opportunity if the people that thought they were not in sync with the play, they would have done another play through another school, probably that would go their way and counter that rather than doing what happened. It is a very unfortunate incident, which I personally, I say it, I can't give a hand to that.
Government claims that there is political radicalization of some sorts of young people, that politicians are taking advantage of fostering their political careers through students. Does that hold water?
Yeah, Trevor, you know, our country has a history, and the history repeats itself. If you go to 2002, there was a revolution, and you know it changes with time. And when you look, in 97, there was also some kind of the same revolution, and 92, 1982. So when you do those two, it gives you like roughly like 10 to 20 years, and this is 2002 was the right time. Unfortunately, it came late to 2023, and when you check on this, you know, the youth are vibrant, and right now with the new technology and everything, it should be expected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me bring Honorable Maitha on this. What are your views on this standoff on the echoes of war?
Okay, thank you, Trevor. It's quite unfortunate and quite uncalled for what happened yesterday. We are living in a country whereby we need to realize that the situations are changing. Unlike those of us who were brought up some years ago where technology was not there, and whereby we could not even sync with what's happening in the entire world. But things are changing. So the situations and the events of yesterday, all day long, and the day before in the night, what happened and transpired about the echoes of war, is quite uncalled for, unacceptable, and as enshrined in our constitution about the rights and freedoms of expression. I think we ought to have allowed this performance to proceed, and it gives room to our youths and our upcoming generation to express themselves and tell the world what is happening out there. So it's quite unfortunate that it happened. And we are trying to curtail what the upcoming generations in terms of performances, in terms of exposure and this and that. So personally, I say it's one of the worst in experience. And actually, we've given more. We have given this playing more audience that maybe most of the Kenyans would not even have deserved, even to know that it's in existence. So I really don't support it at all. And worst enough is that it was subjected to upcoming artists, maybe some of us, maybe a majority of Kenyans have come through, and it was quite unfortunate. That's all I can say for now.
Does the reasoning of the government hold any water? That the politicians, Cleophas Malala, to be specific, is the one who was a script writer, and he has his own political agenda, and he could bring that through the play. Is that a valid argument? I
don't think it's a valid argument. Because the reason, one of the major challenges that we are facing in this country is that anything that does not seem to be good to you is always politically translated. Most of the write-ups and plays and whatnot that have been one of the best done in this country have been written by people who are not even teachers, like lawyers and politicians, and have really through very well. So it's only that the government is not in synchrony to the reasoning of Cleo Malala on their political indifferences. So them trying to say that because it was scripted and written by Cleo Malala is politically motivated, I think it's wrong. It's quite wrong. We ought to have allowed it to proceed, and importantly was to get the message, but not to kill the messenger. Mm-hmm. That was the most important thing. Okay. We don't ought to have killed the message. What we were trying to do is to kill the messenger. But currently, with the current situation, the message is already home. Okay. Because already it is in public domain, and the public knows that these are the contents of the script. And I can tell you, Kenyans outside there, I can tell you that whatever is contained in that play is exactly what is in this country. So they're totally in total agreement of the contents of the script.
Okay.
Yes.
Gui? What are your views on what happened with the echoes of war?
Thank you, Trevor. Yeah. I think I want first to rebuke yesterday's incident with the strongest terms possible. It was very unfortunate to see a government fighting children, a government which has become an enemy of its own people, an enemy to the children. Trevor, this reminds me of an incident that happened some years back, when our children of Langata Primary School were tear-gassed. The incident repeated itself yesterday. See the Butel house being tear-gassed. It's so unfortunate, and I'm saying that the government is ashamed of the realities that are alive in Kenya today. And it is time the government realizes that time for Gen Z is here, and there's no way it can be blocked. So it seems like the government's tried to block the reality being known by the Gen Zs, but they already know it. So it's so unfortunate, and I say it was not the best thing to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Should they just let the teachers be the only ones to do the playwrights?
No.
Is that necessary?
It's not necessary, Trevor, because, the education sector is very wide. And, even when we're in school, even the set books that we read, they are not written by teachers. They are written by different authors. So I say that they shouldn't let the teachers only write the plays. They should be open and let other people who have great minds to write plays to begin opportunity to do that. Mm. Yeah.
Okay. Bahati, what are your views on what transpired with the echoes of war?
Trevor, it's really sad, and that seeing the videos and how expressive those kids are, no child deserves what those girls went through the previous night and also yesterday. Art and drama, it's part of, actually the art and the drama, it's supposed to be reflecting what the society is currently undergoing. I personally, in school, I was part of the drama, and being able to express myself then and being given the opportunity to express and talk, regardless of who was part of this, the teacher or the directors or not, I was able to be where I am today. And so seeing these girls being blocked to express themselves, express what the society is currently going through. It shows that we have a government that is actually trying to kill our future. First of all, we should be thankful that God has blessed us with such young people who are very expressive, very bright, and kids who are actually up to date with the events of our country, with whatever is happening in our society. So trying to suppress them and instilling fear, not just to the Butere girls, but instilling fear to all kids across, whether it's primary school or secondary school, is just showing them that they have no voice in the community or in the society. But what I like to say that I'm happy seeing that those girls were able to stand, express themselves, and I want to applaud the teachers and every other teacher in schools that they are able to get all these. Our kids are going through it every single day, so they should be allowed. Whether they're going through good times or bad times, it's their right to express, regardless of whoever has written the script or whoever is directing the script. The reality is the reality. Yeah. These are the realities that we Kenyans are going through. These are the realities the parents of these kids are going through. So it's quite unfortunate, but we should not be able to, we are not allowed to silence our generation.
But is there a need for balance? Because at the end of it all, we saw the children running out and chanting political chants. I mean, that was not part of the play. Is there a need for balance?
There is a need for balance, but also at the same time, if they had allowed these kids to express themselves, then there wouldn't have no need for them to chant that. And at the same time, these kids were met with a force that you would have thought that they are thugs. You would have thought that these kids are trying to cause political instability in the country. What did you expect the kids to do? You know, there's at that point where you put so much pressure on someone or on something that now it has no space to contain itself, that it has to come out. Don't forget, the previous night, these kids were literally, I would say, tortured mentally. These are kids who are away from their parents. They just had each other and their teachers, and that's what they had. And then the following morning, these kids go to try and just do what normally kids would do. They're teenagers. They should be excited. Oh, we are out of school today. We are going to express ourselves. We are looking forward to win. These are just kids trying to be kids. I'm trying to imagine myself years back. That would be what I've been happy. I'm waiting to go back home with the trophy and celebrate with my school. So once these kids have been targeted, they can see this is the government. It's not just any other person on the streets trying to fight them. So the kids had the right to also in that express themselves. Don't forget, these kids are smart, and they know in our constitution we have the freedom of expression. So it's their right. And don't forget, these kids by 2027 they'll be voters. So they see, they understand, and they will express themselves.
Okay. Atsiaya?
Thank you, Trevor. First and foremost, it's very unfortunate with what happened to Butere girls. And it did not even affect Butere girls alone. It affected also other schools that were at the drama festival that wanted to perform. Because at the end of the day, the drama festival were abandoned. And no school wanted to perform because they were in solidarity with the Butere girls. What I want to say is Butere girls found themselves in a situation whereby they did not put themselves there. Because the government claims that the scriptwriter is trying to achieve an agenda through the girls. That is the government. And they might be right or wrong. And the scriptwriter, to some extent, is against the government and is now scripting a drama, a play, to deliver a message to government. Now these are innocent girls. They have no fault, either to the government or to the scriptwriter. Now they are finding themselves into a situation whereby they did not put themselves in. And Trevor, this is not the first play that is bringing controversy that has been scripted by Malala. Remember in the year 2013, there was that play, Shackles of Doom, that also rattled the government. And it was also taken into courts, and courts are the ones that allowed that play to be performed. It is not the first time in Kenyan history to see such writers and scripts being taken ill by the government. You remember we have even had writers, Kenyan writers, taken to exile because of what they were writing about the government. So it is something that has been historical, and moving forward, schools should not, and schoolgirls and even boys should not be put in a situation whereby they are now being targeted by government or by any other politician because they are young, they are innocent, they don't know what is happening. Theirs is just to perform and show their talents and show them how able they are blessed differently from education. But now other people are taking advantage of this.
Is there a balance between art and politics? Because we know in apartheid South Africa in 1976, it's the students who led a revolution. And you can hear the concern from the government saying that there's some level of disorder that has penetrated the entire society. Is there a need, is there a balance or a line between art and politics? Or should you just be free?
I don't think. You know, art is delivering a message through acting, right? And I don't think government should bring to regulations or come up and say there is some disorder in this play. To say the truth, this play did not find itself into a national podium. With the drama festival starts at the zonal level, up to the regional level, and then up to the national level. If the government thought there were some parts that were not resonating well with it, they could have directed that, let this and this and this be corrected and be expunged. But if these plays start from the local, up to the zonal, up to the national, and then at the national level, you want to bar the girls or the boys from performing their play that they have been practicing all through, and they have come from bottom up to now the national level. I think, Trevor, to some extent, it is not right, and the government should call itself order and just leave this place to continue, because we also have regulations and guidelines with the Minister of Education. Okay. Yes.
You all interact with the people as the first point of contact with the government. In fact, you're at the level where the people are the sacred ground. And Kamanzi, I'll start with you. What are the people telling you in terms of the state of politics? What are their concerns as the people?
Right now, we have a bit of a disillusioned population, and it is in all levels of leadership right now. You know, right now it is at midterm, and many people expected that by midterm, many activities or promises or political promises right now are almost halfway done. But unfortunately, because of the economical aspect of government towards the counties, towards other government institutions, has not been all rosy. Therefore, many people think that the government has not actually delivered to its promise, and that's why you hear the voices and loud shouts at the back. And it is the people that are in leadership, like most of us here, find it a bit rough, because you find that actually in counties we've not been receiving the amounts as they are expected. The MCAs here that you see, if it is how it is supposed to be done, they are 3 months away from salary. The January, February, and right now March.
So you have not been paid for the last 3 months?
Exactly.
None of you has been paid for the last 3 months?
It is only, you'd find that people are paid or are paid because of arrangements by the banks. That's why we are paid. But for the treasury,
because the money from the exchequer.
Yes, for the exchequer, none of us right now. And it being the 3rd month, we are in a bad place.
Okay.
Yes.
Maita, what are the people telling you? The people you deal with directly, the people of Mutwani, what?
Trevor, it's quite unfortunate that when we went to the ballot in 2022, August, there were very high expectations by the electorate that Kenya was going to improve, and especially with the promises of the Kenya Kwanza government. But looking at the things on the ground and the current situation, I can honestly say that people are quite disappointed. They feel left out by the government. They feel let down by the government because what they thought was to be a walk in the park has turned out to be a monster. The economy is in quite bad disarray, if I may say. Businesses are not moving. And this can be attested by the last 3-4 days events of the central bank, where central bank has resorted to reducing the lending rates. Reason being, in the banks, there's nothing that is taking place. People are not taking loans. Institutions are not moving. Businesses are totally doing badly. So the economy is quite affected. So on our side, and especially those of us, especially those MCS, when we interact with the electorate on a day-to-day basis, I can tell you honestly that the economy of this country is quite tainted, is quite affected. And this is as a result of, I can say, the unfavorable policies and the implementations that the government has put in place, which are not quite supportive to the Kenyan economy. So what I would like to say is that it is not quite good. The economy is not quite pleasing to the Kenyans. And Kenyans are feeling quite oppressed, quite disappointed. And I will tell you honestly, if an opinion poll was conducted today, if elections were to be held today, I will tell you 80% of Kenyans will not vote for the current leadership. Reason being, what they expected to happen in their lives in terms of economic improvement, economic growth and this and that has not really happened. Actually, it has happened on the inverse. So basically, I would say that things on the ground are quite terribly bad. And what has really happened is that we have been introducing new measures to raise revenue, measures to try to cap the missing link in terms of revenue mechanisms by the national government, which has really affected so many businesses. If you see, like, for example, the fuel prices, when the fuel prices went up, it really affected the entire, because fuel is the driving force in almost everything. So that has really affected. However much they have tried to reduce the prices of fuel, it still affects the economy in many ways. So what I would say is the economy is not favorable, and generally Kenyans are very disappointed with the current government. And if elections are out today, I will tell you honestly, the political impasse will not give them a safe landing.
Okay. Yeah. Ngui, what are the people of Katangi telling you is their concern, and what do they feel in terms of the political situation now?
Yeah, Trevor, our people, our Kenyans, I can say confidently that they are very disappointed. People are saying that they have a government that is full of promises, full of lies, and the government has not been able to, to deliver on anything. The issue of economy, people are really pressed. Very few people can put food on the table. And in fact, their prayer is that if the government could strengthen the county governments, give more monies to the counties, because the services that are reaching to Mwananchi, they are only the small services that come from the county government. So the prayer of the people is that they are looking forward to have a government that will strengthen devolution so that services can come down to Mwananchi. Yeah.
So that is their main concern.
Oh, yes, yes.
Bahati, what are the Cheleni people saying?
Trevor, one of the things that people from Cheleni, not just Cheleni, but also countrywide, they have what they ordered in 2022. It's not what has been delivered, up to this point. And there is that dissatisfaction that people are feeling, cutting all across all the sectors of our society in terms of the ministries, the drama that we keep on seeing on a daily basis, the promises, and then there is nothing. What people are saying this government has been delivering, it's nothing but lies, fake promises, launching projects that never exist, and if they do exist, they are blamed to the contractors. And if the other thing, just the political class that Kenyans keep on saying, Kenyans generally, they are mad, they are tired, I'll say they are angry. And that's why, even as just from the previous topic, we said, like, people, anything that can trigger, they are ready to express themselves, because there's nothing else to hold on to this. Honestly, Kenyans, they feel like 2027 is way too far. They pray day and night. If God would have given us Kenyans a time, just the powers to make the time go faster, Kenyans would. That's how angry Kenyans are. Yeah.
Atia, what are the people of Wodonga saying?
It's Wodonga. Trevor, basically what the Vice Chair said, the Speaker for Kwale, that people expected by mid-term they could have given a score on what deliverables and what could have been achieved by 2 years in office by the government. But at the moment, we have very little to show. And it is true that the cries are outside there, and people are analyzing what government promised and what it has delivered, and it is a very minimal delivery. Maybe to just tell the government that let them evaluate what they promised vis-a-vis what they have delivered, and they give themselves a scorecard. I'm in a situation whereby I'm an MCA for the government. I was elected on an ANC ticket, and ANC folded, and now I'm a UDA MCA. But now, to say the truth, on the ground, you cannot even open your mouth and tell people UDA. You cannot, because they can skin your life. Because they ask you, they first and foremost ask you, what have you delivered to us? I come from a ward there, neighboring a ward in Sabatia constituency, where my party leader, former party leader, Musalia Mudavadi, comes from. And he's actually my neighbor. So there is these things that people believed and thought, and they had a lot of hopes to government, that government will deliver this by this time, and they have not delivered. So it is quite embarrassing, but we have a hope. All politicians normally have hope, and everything that keeps us going is hope. So we have hope that things will get better. Yes.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to take a quick break here. When we come back now, we get into your specific issues in terms of the county assemblies and the issues that I've been seeing there. We'll also play some of the clips from Machakos. I'm glad we have 3 representatives from Machakos who will tell us what the drama is in Machakos. And also the leadership of the County Assemblies Forum is here. We'll speak about Nyamira as well, what the issue there is, because there are 2 different factions, and whether you have delivered as MCAs. We'll come to that in just a bit. Send in your views at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag DayBreak. See you in just a bit.